I strongly recommend that anyone who has not yet watched the first part of this study should start with watching it on my channel and then return to this video. Otherwise, you may not be completely clear of what I am going to tell about. For those who watched the first part, I remind, we have discovered that in Stanley Kubrick's Lolita adaptation, Claire Quilty was not a real character, but only an allegorical figure depicting the hidden part of Humbert's split personality. But still, if that is true, why does Lolita confidently and emotionally talks about Quilty as if he was a real person?
It was Claire Quilty. I guess he was the only guy I was ever really crazy about.
First of all, the image of Kubrick's Lolita is very different from that of Nabokov. She's not a little ingenuous girl from the novel. She's smart and confident young woman. In the final scene, she's adult fully. Lolita is one from the whole range of Kubrick's favorite type of female characters, weak but intelligent. In dangerous situations, they find their way to salvation, often passing close to the very brink of death. When Lolita writes to Humbert, she knows that he will track the postmarkings on the envelope and find her. She's prepared to encounter him. She spent a lot of time with Humbert and knows exactly what's going on with him. Obviously, she's been in contact with his dark subpersonality many times. Lolita knows that she is dealing with a mentally ill person. Mind that she is a talented actress, a star of school theater.
Well, they say I have a unique and rare talent.
And how did they know that?
Well, we had readings, and I was chosen over 30 other girls.
That's the first I've heard about it.
I know. I wanted to surprise you.
Lolita plays her part superbly. She knows what this jealous man is going to ask her about.
Who is the man that I'm looking for?
Oh, there's no point in going into that. It's all over.
Lolita, I have to know.
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't tell you.
Look, Lolita, I have a perfect right to know this.
She tells about things that she never witnessed. The dialogues between Quilty and Humbert. That may mean that turning into Quilty, he told the girl about how he had mocked Humbert. Lolita turns his light part against the dark part, inciting his jealousy with stories about how she loved Quilty. Remember, Lolita suffered a lot from his jealousy. She knows it's insuperable.
He wasn't like you and me. He wasn't a normal person. He was a genius. He had a kind of, beautiful Japanese, Oriental philosophy of life.
This is a clear fiction, a manipulation designed to arouse Humbert's rage. Hard, but a gentle way would not work. And her trick works. After making sure that all is over, Humbert hated his dark part, burst into tears, gave all his money to the girl, and thereby Quilty inside him lost power. There was a showdown between Lolita and Humbert after the school play, and the girl said,
You're sick.
Oh, stop. Don't throw those silly cliches
No,
at me.
seriously.
Don't tell me anymore. You've been with this boy, haven't you? Come on, tell me.
You need help. You're imagining things.
Shut up, Lolita!
Lolita already understood what was going on. So why did Lolita write to Humbert after all these years? Was there a really urgent need for money to risk meeting a mentally ill, jealous man? Yes, the money was needed, but I'm sure she had another purpose, a more important one. Lolita truly loved this man and realized that she could help him recover by telling the fictional story of Quilty in such a way as to direct his jealousy and hatred against his own dark half. Remember her first long, admiring look at Humbert in her mother's garden. Remember this.
I'll be right back.
remember that.
Promise you'll never leave me. Cross your heart and hope to die.
Cross my heart and hope to die.
Remember, Lolita stayed with Humbert for a long time, although she saw the signs of mental disorder in him. There really was a story of great love between this girl and the light part of this man. Though he was timid, weak and jealous, he resembled her father, and maybe this attracted Lolita.
And you know, in certain lights you remind me of Harold.
Oh, you mean the late Mr.
Yes.
Listen to the music behind her monologue. It's a love theme.
Yes. He had a kind of beautiful Japanese, Oriental philosophy of life.
Lolita sensed Humbert's interest and flirted with him, and then in the hotel bedroom she made the first step to intimacy. Humbert was too humble to approach her. Deep inside he always felt guilty about this affair, though Lolita herself never bothered about it. It was Lolita who always ruled their relation. She started and she ended it.
Alrighty then.
And some moments that still need to be explained. There is a rapid conversation between Lolita and Charlotte when Humbert left them alone for a minute.
Did you have a good time dancing with Claire Quilty?
Of course. He's a very erudite gentleman.
Yeah, I know. All the girls are crazy about him, too.
It's the only talk about Quilty that Humbert isn't involved in. But it's not a real talk, it's only his paranoid illusion. It's the time when his unconscious anxiety over his passion for Lolita begins to gain strength, and his mental breakdown enhances because of that. Another episode to explain. Sick Humbert arrives at the hospital for Lolita, but she is no longer there. Allegedly, she was taken away by some uncle. The whole scene is a sick dream of Humbert.
All right, she has an uncle. Uncle Gus. Yes, I remember now. He was going to pick her up here at the hospital. I forgot that.
Forgot?
Yes, I forgot.
What's a strange thing to forget, isn't it?
That's not so strange. You don't know my brother Gus. He's very easy to forget.
Lastly, I return to the final scene and Humbert's shots at the portrait of a blonde girl. It's not hard to guess that this image is a reference to Lolita, and the tiger head under the painting signifies the wild and dangerous nature of man's passion. The explanation of this episode is twofold. First, all that happened between Humbert and Lolita was painful and left wounds on her. And second, trying to kill the dark part of himself, Humbert destroys the very image of his passion, which was carelessly stored in Quilty's castle, a corner of his own soul. His passion to the girl was inseparable from Quilty, thus his passion was inseparable from guilt. Liberated from his guilt, Humbert was liberated from his passion.